Hi, everyone. This is Coach Green Jean, your managing director of Harmonic Connections Plus, the lead instructor and developer of the 3H Intro into Pre-Apprenticeship workshop for young people ages 12 to 17 years old in construction safety, craft work, and technology, where we introduce the students to a basic sustainable skill set as well as indigenous values that bring on a responsibility to respect, honor, care for, and protect oneself, family, and environment. So with the success of these programs, of these workshops, we've had parents ask us questions related to their young people being able to navigate the career path of a design tech and professional. Hence was the birth of this particular online broadcast or dialogue, paper versus paper, where we have the amazing opportunity to sit down with today's professionals to receive insights as well as tools on building sustainable pathways for the next generation. Guys, this is Coach Green Jean. Welcome you to our next broadcast or live online discussion, paper versus paper, where our professional today is none other than Elhadji Mademba Gueye. Haj, I wanted to welcome you out to today's online discussion, my brother. And I'm just so glad you can join us. We have a very, very special conversation that we have to really get into. And I wanted you to kind of more or less start out, if you don't mind, just sharing to our audience about who you are and what you do, Haj.
Well, it's an honor, to be invited to come to this broadcast, brother.
Yes.
And my name is Elhadji. Well, I'm known by Haj, simply Haj, H-A-J. But my real name is Elhadji. Really, the Elhadji part is because my grandfather, when I was born, he was at a pilgrimage in Mecca. So therefore, my father promised my grandfather, this child, if it's a boy, it would be named after you, and we will give you this child to raise. Wow. So when I was born, and at that time, my dad was in Europe. So every time my mom pregnant, my mom has to go to the continent in Senegal to have us, and then go back and meet my dad. And so my mom went home at that time when she was in labor with me and having me. My grandfather was in Mecca pilgrimage, and they call him, say, well, it is a boy, and we will name him after you, Mademba. He's like, no, I am here at the pilgrimage with him. So you're going to name him Elhadji, which is the pilgrimage, those who went to the journey of pilgrimage, then Mademba Gueye. That's where the Hajj comes from. But my true name, it is Mademba Gueye. So man, it's an honor to be here, brother.
And it's an honor and a privilege, Haj, for you even giving us that background. And that's the purpose of this particular broadcast, Haj. We actually want the nitty gritty of about who you are as an individual, the meaning behind what it is you do, because I want our young people and I want our parents to know that the world-class designer that you have become today did not just appear out of thin air. There was a process to that. And I want us to just take our time to just kind of walk into that arena, if you will, just to kind of share about your background. And as we go through, I want to let our audience know to let them know that we're going to show pictures about you know, what
Wow.
it is that you do.
That picture there, I was 14 years old. You know, that's really old. But yes, well, I am a third generation designer. You know, my grandfather was a designer and a tailor, and then pass it on to my father. So my grandfather's family, all of his family sew. My grandfather have 6 brothers, and they were all designers. So my great great grandfather, that's all he ever did. He was in that business all day life. So my great grandfather's uh, siblings too, they were in the business in Africa. Once one family and certain craft that was successful, they encourage all the other family member to, be at that craft.
Mm.
So okay, my grandfather taught my father, and my father taught me. And all of this started out, and when I was born, and that's when my father's success arise, at that time.
Yes.
So out of my 17 siblings, my dad chose me as a third child. I got 2 older brothers. One name is Tuba Gueye, one is Sheikh Sar Gueye, who's right now, leading the uh, Japanese embassy in Senegal, who's
Mm.
after him. He
Yeah.
carried three doctor's degree. He has his doctors in Japanese and international law and in French and in English. So that
Yes.
was, yeah, he's more accomplished than I am, because when I was born, my dad said, okay, this is the guy has to take over the craft, and said, okay, he's just going to go to school to learn how to read. That's it.
Mm.
All of his time will be spent of learning this craft.
Yes.
And if I say learning, and I mean really learning, and he taught me this craft in a tough way. That was a really tough love. And that picture you're showing there, I made an outfit without drafting any pattern. Instead of drafting the pattern, I draft on the fabric itself to able to produce the garments for that client. And that outfit I'm working there, it is working on, it is for the former president of Niger.
Wow.
The wife name was, the president was Seni Kunche. So we
Mm.
used to say Madam Kunche. That's her outfit I'm working on right there. I remember that. It was a burgundy, what we call Vax. Vax is 100% cotton fabric. Does not wrinkle very much and have a nice sheen to it. That was my first outfit I made for that president's wife. And
Wow.
that's what that picture was taking, actually. And so that's bringing back a lot of memories,
It's amazing because even within this picture, there are still some hidden clues that we talked about a little bit earlier. It talked about your responsibility as a young person at your young age and the responsibility that you had as a craft person. And you had those 2 gentlemen back there in the back. Could you elaborate on that a little bit, Haj?
Well, so I grew up in my dad's shop, which is the shop you're looking at there. Since I was a kid, my dad would be sewing, put me like on next to him, or first he used to put me like on his lap while he's sewing. So and watching me closely. So I mean, I grew up with machine ringings in my ears all my life. So
Wow.
uh that's how I learned. I grew up literally in there. When I first have any recognition of life, it was in that shop you're looking at.
Yes.
So that age, I was in 14. By then I was already drafting, cutting for those employees. That shop there's inside, there's 6 more tailors in there. So I was cutting eight for 8 people, 8 employees every morning. I get up at 5 o'clock, At that time, my dad was forcing for me to go to the mosque. So I get up at 5, I go pray, come back to the shop before I even shower, and cut for all the 8 employees. So by the time they come at 9 o'clock to work, there's a work for them to be, there's a work to be done. And I'll put each person, I'll put 3 outfit on their table, on their machine, and with all the instruction what they have to do. That's why those guys there were much more older than I am. That guy who you're looking at was about 40 years old, and I was 14 in that picture. And
Wow.
most of them were a whole lot older than me. But my dad gave me early responsibility of, leading some of these tailors on what to do. And my dad used to go to Senegal, leave me the shop in the age of 14. By the time he get back, I used to, do more business, more revenue than my dad was doing at that time.
Wow.
Yes. So that's what that picture's taking me way, 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 way back.
I'm so glad that that we're actually unlocking some of these amazing and key stories, which are so important, for our young generation to hear. Because as you know, I work with the young people
Mm-hmm.
with the actual apprenticeship as it relates to construction craft work, and I
Mm-hmm.
tell my young people that us working with these tools um, is not the actual idea of what we're trying or the purpose that we're trying to get to. And what we're trying to get to is for the young people to understand how to connect into the world with not only the knowledge and education, but with their heart and the relationships that they have with people, with their mentors and coaches, and the skill sets. And I believe that the skill sets as it relates to our hands is becoming a dying situation, and I want to highlight the importance of our young people being able to gravitate to get experience in these particular skill sets, because you never know how these particular skill sets can help you navigate your professional career path. Is within these skill sets that I believe will help young people develop their crafted talent. But you
I
never
to-
know if you don't have the responsibility like you had.
well, I totally agree that the skill set is so important, man, because I seen even in my own craft is being, you know, automated, and
Yeah.
working with your hands is nothing like working with your hand. Somebody was asking me about, so how is it, you learn this, how does it go, everybody in this tailor and this uh uh business, everybody, you know, uh, making tailors, how that affect you? I say, look, it doesn't affect me at all. And I love competition. I love challenges because I know who I am and what I was taught. When my dad was teaching me, I'm going to go back.
Mm.
I took a paper to draft a pattern. My dad slapped me so hard.
Mm.
My ear was bleeding.
Mm.
I couldn't hear a thing that he was saying after that. I
Yes.
just can hear his mouth moving, you know.
Mm.
But my, one of the employees who was there afterwards, and I couldn't cry. He said,
Mm.
"Man, don't cry." So when you talk about when like the movie I watch, The Spartan,
Yes.
I lived through those moments.
Of a real apprenticeship.
For real, and
Mm.
with my own father. So after my dad left, I asked the guy, what was he saying? He's like, well, he say, why you picking up the pattern? Why are you picking up the paper to make a pattern? Why can you draft on the fabric and cut it? I mean, and keep in mind, this was way back in the day.
Mm.
I am 56 right
Mm.
now. And at that time, I was 12 years old.
Wow.
By 14, I was running the whole shop.
Mm.
So, you can imagine those times,
Yeah.
And his point was, what about if you go somewhere in the world that you have to create your brand or dressing someone and you don't have a paper? How will you survive?
Yes.
Can you go? So he called that time. At that time, you dress one on one. Nobody was thinking about, you make a pattern and then automate it, and everybody can cut you, make 1,000 suits and 500. That was not the case back in the days. That was not the case back in the days. So it was one on one. That's why I maintained that one on one service with my client of educating them and provide them an impactful present. Get back to the story, and he was like, what about if you go somewhere there is no pattern? How will you survive? How can you dress someone, draft straight to the fabric without doing the pattern? And the measurement has to be precise, because he would not compromise one thing: craft and precision measurements. I got it.
And you and I think that is what sets you apart from the competition today as it relates to the meaning that you bring behind your work. Each and every tailored item that you bring is a special one-on-one custom fit design, impactful presence for the actual personality, if you will, of each and every one of your individual clients. It's amazing, man, of the people that you serve and how you do business. Share a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, that's part of it. Absolutely. This personalization that I bring to my craft is everything that I learned back in the past, and how my dad used to serve all of his dignitary clients, and I was with my dad up until I was 24 I mean, literally, he did not set me free. I had to break away. you know
Mm.
I had an opportunity to come to US to work and to create my own brand. And excuse me, at
Mm.
that time I was his bread and butter. I was running the shop, from one shop to the next, and for him it was like, no, you cannot go yet, but I have to plead with his older brother to kind of plead for me. In the process, while they were pleading, I said, you know what, I'm gonna go to US. So I kind of
Yes,
disappear, for a couple
yes,
of weeks. And
yes.
the opportunity that I have to come to US was still there, and which is working for major firm in New York City. And I say, okay, they were not really wanted to do it because my dad didn't agree, but I wanted to do it because I have paid my dues with him. you
Yeah.
know I worked for him
Yes.
till I was 24 years old, run the
Wow.
shop, and really make more money for him than he
Yeah.
had made for himself at that time. So it was time for me to start my own. So
Well,
that's why I kind of run away and come in, but and still carry those principles that he taught
yes.
me. I never
Yes.
used it until I came here to US, and I still use it today.
Yes. As we really honor where you have come from, your legacy, your lineage, your legacy of your parents pouring into you these values. It's um it's uh it's been an important process, and we're thankful. I think you're on mute,
Oh,
Haj. Okay, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
hold on,
Yeah,
hold on, hold on.
yeah,
Okay.
Yep, you're back. And
I can't hear you, brother. I'm so sorry. I don't know what we're having a technical issues here.
that's okay. Can you hear me now? Okay, we're going to have Haj come right back. We're just having a little technical difficulties, but he should be right back with us in just a moment. Okay, we got
Okay.
you back, Haj.
Sorry, man.
No,
We
don't
were
worry
having
about
some.
it. We're going
Yeah.
to go ahead and continue right where we left off, just as we were saying, honoring your legacy and the values that your parents have instilled in you, that sense of professionalism and the things that you're passing down and passing forward. We were just showing a moment ago some of the crafted designs that you are creating for both men and women and dignitaries all over the world. And I did also want to touch on the piece that you're not only providing items like this for the community, you also, Haj, um, use opportunities to mentor yourself. You have a mentoring program, Project Gentlemen, and also Intervision International. That you
Yes.
talk about that for us, Haj.
Well, brother named Jermaine, who is the head of Project Gentlemen, I have worked with him to offer them, some garment. In what I do in my craft, whenever I dress up a new executives, build them a new wardrobe, I always ask to get some of their old clothing. I'll say, listen, one person's trash is another person's treasure. We have a lot of young men and women out there who graduate and really do, their parents are not fortunate to buy them a graduation suit. It's not all of them, so I would like to give you a discount on your clothes by taking some of your old clothes and give it to some of the young men and women that needs it. So I created that way. Back in the days, I have seen some of my friends I grew up with who their parents were not fortunate at all. And I used to hang out with them whenever I come to Senegal, hang out with them, we play, and I listen to their story. They looking at me all fascinated, like I get to go to another country. Oh my God. So just dreaming to look for somebody who can come and guide them and help them. So I have that in the back of my mind my whole life. I was growing up understanding that I was very fortunate. A lot of my friends I grew up with were not as fortunate as I was. So I take it upon myself. I mean, why do I look for that person? Why not can I be that person? That's when I started out, you know, uh, every time I work with some of my clients, and most of the time, a lot of my client wants to build the wardrobe. So I go into the what I call closet analysis, go to the closet. First I have a questionnaire that I send to my client just so I can understand who they are and what they want to do, what type of image they want to develop for themselves. And I work with them to create that for them. Something, a presence that speak to them, that they can relate to. And also take some of the old clothes. And I started taking the clothes to Senegal. Each time I'm going to Senegal, I've been doing it for the last 18 years. I give away up to date 34,000 suits for young men and women. I never broadcast this because it wasn't important. It was more genuine, serious to me, that understanding, that's something that I need to do for my own people. And between US and Africa, those 34,000 suits, I give to young men and women here. Last year, actually, I have give a suit to one young man, and the mother come to me, says his dad always wanted to wear a suit. He never got a chance to put on the suit. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. By you doing this, dressing him, he looked so great. I never seen my son look like this. I'm really looking at his dad in the suit. He's representing his dad today. Haj, thank you. I say no. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this. I I feel so good when I give back. I know what it's like not to have because I grew up in Africa with a bunch of people who don't have. So giving back, it is my pleasure, always. And creating an impactful presence to my client is a passion for me. I don't, this is not what I do. This is who I am.
Talk about it, brother. Yes.
I am impactful present. I am personal image branding. I am a designer. I
Yes.
was born and raised. This is in my DNA. So I cannot stay away from this. You know,
Haj, man, you are hitting the meat of this particular live discussion because when I open up Coach Green Jean with the kids, you know what I start out with, Haj? I look at those kids in their eyes and I say, repeat after me. And I say that you guys should say, I am the answer.
yes,
The
yes,
kids, the next generation is the answer. And it's our
absolutely.
responsibility. It's our
Abs-
responsibilities as coaches, as mentors, as teachers to be able to assist our young people with
Absolutely.
having the correct perspective
Yeah.
on what it means to serve in your crafted talent, in your area of expertise in such a way that the blessings don't just and you're sharing it perfectly, Haj, that the blessings don't just come through you as a legacy builder, to you as a legacy builder. The blessings are supposed to be coming through you
Mm-hmm.
to the next generation. And that's what you do. You allowing the gifts that you have been giving and imparted to come through you as a vessel.
Well, in Africa, we says it takes a village to raise a child,
Yes.
and that still stand today, and it's needed today more than it has way back in the days when these words were practiced. Because it's not practiced these days anymore. These days, I see like each his own. Well, if we looking and operating on each his own, we will never survive.
We
We
won't.
will never make it as a community, you
And
know.
Haj, that is the one thing that I know through your practice as a professional and something that we focus on in our workshops is that we are responsible and need to make sure that we continue to assist our young generation, that next generation, to
They
come
are the
out
future.
of yes, to come out of that mindset of me, myself, and I, and consider the importance of being a sustainable answer for the
But
next generation.
but check this out. Me and
Yes,
myself and I doesn't last. The wealthiest person amongst the loneliest people. Really.
right.
Because it's me and myself and I, you
We
know.
have to change. We have to change that
Do
paradigm.
you know what I find, man? Some of the most unfortunate people are the happiest. And before
Mhm.
you know that, yes, I've been in US very long time, 32 years now.
Mhm.
And when I go to Africa and I go to the village, man, these people don't have, I mean, it takes me back. Sometimes, that happened to everybody, been here so long. I go there, I don't want to sit down, I don't want to drink the water. Well, this is where I'm coming from. This was me. You know what I mean? And they are so generous to say, hey, Haj, come in each house, fixing a meal and to bring it to me just to say, thank you for coming to see us.
Yes.
Man,
Yes.
I read a lot of books. There's this book that I read kind of put me in check was this author Neil no 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 yeah Neil Donald Walsh.
Okay.
Neil Donald Walsh called
Neil.
Conversation with God.
Mhm.
That book, oh my God. So I read that book when I was, I went to this village where my grandmother came from, who passed 114 years old. My dad tried to get her out of that village. She didn't want to leave. I tried after my dad passed. She did not want to leave until that's where she passed away, you know. And I went to the village, and they don't have a house. I mean, this is just a hut, pull
Mhm.
a little bunk chair, like, hey, sit down, and then grab a water in that big bucket of thing they have. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get sick if I drink this water. And then my mind went back to that book.
Mhm.
Neil Donald Walsh went to Burkina Faso as being homeless in US, have an opportunity to go there, and was in the village. And these people were living in like it was like my great grandparents' house, which like a huts, and they welcomed him in one room with, three kids and the husband and wife, and offer him everything that they have, even though it was not enough.
Mhm.
My mind went back to that, saying, Haj, you come from this. This is who you are. So if you're judging them, you're judging yourself. Man, listen, I take that water, I drink it with no hesitation. I ate everything they have. And before I left, I hand my, grandmother's who was taking care of me $1,000. She never seen or hold $1,000 in her life. She's like, what am I going to do with this? I said, well, get everything you need. I want to fix this house. We believe in so much about, yeah, I'm here in this high rise, but when I go home and I go to the village, man, I feel so comfortable in those huts, and understanding is my tradition. I got to where I got to because I hold my craft and I wanted to be better. But it's not being better, it's being helpful, it's being making an impact to our community and to our future generation. I do what I do because I love it, not for me, but those who's behind me, those who's way back in Africa that I want to change their life. That's what I'm working for now. I'm not working for Hajj anymore. I made it. I'm good. But I want to make an impactful presence to their life, like I'm making an impactful present to people's life here and my clients. The best way that I see I have been moving upward in life is to serve others and helping others, not to be selfish and to be thinking about just myself. As I get older, what comes back to me always is it takes a village to raise a child.
Haj, you have spoken to our soul. Brother, just on the the dynamic of you going back home and honoring. See, and that right there. I mean, even myself, you know, of just holding on to these precious words and stories that you're sharing with us. How can we go forward unless we honor our past, honor our culture, honor those people who have sacrificed and
For us.
laid down their lives for us?
Mm-hmm.
And my brother, I believe today the universe smiles upon you because you complete that balance and that flow of energy that is so necessary for our young people and the professionals of today in mainstream. They need to see and understand that it's not just about an increase unless there is a repetition of where you are. I don't like the word giving back, but what I do like is you're taking the responsibility to 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 be the answer for your village, to be the answer for your profession, to be the answer in the economy, and where it helps people and builds them up instead of tear them down. Because
Absolutely.
it's not about us,
No, it's
but
not about us.
it's about the next generation. And you
Absolutely.
put that together so well, my brother. And I'm just so eternally grateful
I
for you.
will
Just
add this. I will add
please,
this, brother.
please.
These young men that I see you teaching them the craft, it is important to learn the craft. Please learn the craft to learn so you can earn. And there's no craft that's smaller than another craft. And technology does not build a home. Technology does not do electrician. Technology does not do farming. Technology is not all about technology. While technology is good, learning how to mix something with your own hand. And I didn't realize that till I was a grown man. I'll walk around and see something I like. I'm like, I'm gonna make that. I can see anything in 2 days, I'll wear it. Any clothes in the world. I am perfection. I can make furs, crocodile, anything in textile I can do with my own hand. A lot of people don't understand that. That picture that I put of me, because some people were doubting, like, yeah, he's just doing this thing or doing no, 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 brother. Yeah, I have no idea. I pay my dues. I learned this craft. This came from generations. I stitch in those pedal machine that you don't see anymore. And you can see that motor right behind the pedal. That even doesn't work a lot. So I use my feet and my hand and my mind to craft the garment of a wife of a head of a state, which is Saini Kunche. In Senegal, Eyadem, all of these was quite a few West African presidents that my father dressed. Some of them are still dressed. Uh, so, I don't say I am this craft, and this craft is me. Learn your craft. If you don't know anything, you got to know how to do things with your hand.
Man, Booker T. Washington said it back in 1904.
Absolutely, and
and
it still
and
stands.
it still stands today. A lot of our
Learn the craft.
yes, learn a craft,
Craft and
and like
master it.
we
And
yes,
master it.
just for a self. These are talents that can last you a lifetime.
Lifetime that you can pass it on to your kids. Nobody going to be walking around naked anytime soon. Right?
Exactly.
And
And these
nobody, I mean, all of the craft, if it's a building a house, building a table, all of these necessary things that only hands can do. Machine cannot automate it, all of these things. Yes, technology is good, but they cannot automate it, a lot of things. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? A
That's right.
human has to be involved in that.
Talk about it. And what we're stressing here is not for people not to go to college. Education is primary,
It's
right?
primary, very important.
You must educate yourself.
Absolutely.
But in the process, understand your responsibility as a human to understand your crafted talent and what you were put into the earth to do and how you were going to solve a problem
Absolutely.
to help the next generation sustained after you. And so whatever it is, I encourage our young people to make sure that they're making connections into the world with their head, their heart,
in their hand.
and their hands.
So I will call it that: live to happen to life. Instead of living, letting life happen to you.
There you go. That's
I live
amazing.
to happen to life.
There you
I
go.
live to make a legacy and leave a legacy that I didn't come to this earth and gone, without knowing what my purpose is.
That's right.
If you don't know, make time to find what is your purpose.
Yes.
Make time to find what is your passion and stick with it.
And Haj, I don't want to take up a lot of your time, but I do want to make sure that we close on these 2 points. And one is, you've given so much of your time already, but I want to make sure that if there are individuals out there that are interested in touching your business and being a blessing to your business, to want to understand how they can actually have an impactful presence as executives or as young people, how do they get in contact with you in order to assist them with, their impactful presence as professionals?
Well, they can always reach out. I'm on my, first of all, website is haj@maisondehaj.com.
Yes.
I mean, maisondehaj.com. So Haj at Maison de Haj, that's my email. And Instagram, Maison de Haj. Facebook, probably Haj Gueye. And there's a Maison de Haj Facebook. So there's a multiple way they can reach me. Or they can call simply 312-583-0549. And my office is located at 77 East Van Buren, basically in the Chicago Club. I am a tenant of the Chicago Club, which is Michigan right off Van Buren. So that's where I will be, definitely.
Awesome. And I also want to let people know, of course, about our workshops, Coach Green Jean and Harmonic Connections. We have our workshops at the present moment in the south side of Chicago, in the suburbs of Chicago Heights at Prairie State College, where we take the opportunity again to engage young people and making sure that they're connecting in the world with their head, their hearts, and their hands, so that they can discover their talent, their crafted talent. We use these opportunities of working with tools to give them skill sets that will last them a lifetime, and actually also discover their purpose in life, to put them on that pathway of being legacy builders. Everything that Haj had talked about today, we want to make sure that our next generation are equipped with having meaning in their lives, so that they are creating a sustainable pathway for the next generation's professionals, where they are saying that I am the answer.
Absolutely.
Haj, you're the answer, my brother.
Thank you, brother. Well,
thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you for being with us and spending these last 40 minutes, man, and just blessing us and giving us these tools and insights, man. And we just pray the success continually be upon you and everything that you touch, my brother.
Brother, my pleasure. And I just want to add, you're doing a great job. Anything I could be an assistant, please feel free to reach out to me. And we can do one time, whenever your kids are graduated, reach out to me. I would like to give each one of them a suit of their own, so they can have that impactful presence, brother. Okay.
Wow. Thank you so much, my brother. We really appreciate that, sir. We really appreciate that.
Pleasure is all mine, brother, and thank you for having me, man. All right.
And thank you for giving us your precious time, sir.
Pleasure is all mine, brother.
All right, man. Have an amazing afternoon, man.
You do the same. Thanks a lot.
Take care, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.